Stranger Things is coming out this week and I am so excited. There's nothing I don't love more than making themed food for watch parties. Granted, this time it's just gonna be my husband and I, but I'm still gonna make themed food. Before we get started, if you haven't seen Stranger Things, spoilers. Spoilers ahead, so just be aware. Most of the food in Stranger Things is really sugary and candy and all of that. And there's only so much I can eat at a time, so we're just going to make a good old ice cream sundae. I briefly considered making ice cream from scratch, but in the past when I've done it, it's just not good. It's one of those things that's honestly, in my opinion, not worth the effort. Just buy it from the store. So I got some ice cream, but we are gonna make some of the toppings. I'm gonna show you how to make a chocolate sauce that I use all the time. I use it mostly in my coffee and it is real good. And we're also gonna make some coconut whipped cream, which is also real good. Unrelated to the ice cream, we're also going to make an adult beverage called the Upside Down. So I'll show you how to make both of those. Let's go. First, we'll make the chocolate sauce using 3 simple ingredients: 1 can of sweetened condensed milk, 2 to 3 tablespoons of unsweetened cocoa powder, and a drizzle or 2 of milk as needed to thin out the sauce and make it drizzleable. I start by stirring the cocoa powder into the sweetened condensed milk slowly with a small rubber spatula. I'd recommend using a larger bowl than you think you'll need at the start and stir slowly with more of a folding motion rather than a full stirring motion, because the powder doesn't want to play easily with the sweetened condensed milk's thick consistency. It will create little spurts of flying powder up at you if you try to mix too vigorously right at the beginning. Trust me, it'll slowly come together, and once it does, you can stir at a more regular pace until all the dry bits are blended in. At this point, we'll also add a dash or 2 of milk as needed, stirring between additions until we reach the desired drizzleable consistency. And that's it. Stir up your own chocolate sauce in less than 2 minutes. I like to grab a funnel and keep mine in a squirt bottle like this, and it'll stay good in the fridge for up to 3 weeks, though it never lasts that long. I put it in ice cream, coffee to make a mocha, all sorts of stuff. Next, we'll make the coconut whipped cream. Regular whipped cream uses heavy cream whipped with sugar, but coconut whipped cream adds a sweet coconut flavor and is particularly good with nutty or berry ice cream flavors and an extra special topping to a latte or hot chocolate. The recipe is very similar to regular whipped cream, just replacing the heavy cream with a can of full-fat coconut cream. There's some debate about the best brand to use, but the one I've found that works best is Nature's Charm. If you've never used coconut cream before, when you open the can, there's 2 sort of separate layers. One of them is more firm, what you would think of as coconut, and the other is a whitish, almost clear liquid. To start, we'll only want the firm part, so separate the liquid part out of the can if you're able to, and scrape out the firm part into a mixing bowl. We'll start whipping the firm part, adding small amounts of the liquid as needed to thin the firm part and turn it into a creamy, soft whipped cream texture. Coconut has a fairly sweet flavor, but we'll also need to add powdered sugar to give it extra sweetness. This is a great time to practice the mantra: stir, taste, and adjust. I start by adding 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar for 1 can of coconut cream. Whip it well so I know it's mixed all the way, taste it, and then adjust. If it's not sweet enough, I add more powdered sugar. If it's not as fluffy as I want it to be, I add a little bit more liquid from the coconut can and whip it some more. Just repeat this process of stir, taste, and adjust until it's to the fluffy consistency and sweet taste that you like. The idea behind this sundae is making one like the kids might get in Stranger Things from Steve at Scoops Ahoy. So we're gonna make a ship's sail out of a waffle. To make the waffle batter, I like to use the buttermilk waffle recipe from King Arthur Flour that I will link in the description. To a large bowl, we'll whisk 2 eggs, 397 grams of buttermilk, 113 grams of unsalted butter, melted and cooled, until slightly frothy and well mixed. I omit the vanilla extract that's in King Arthur Flour's recipe, but you can include 2 teaspoons of vanilla if you would like. Next, in a small bowl, we'll mix 226 grams of all-purpose flour, 25 grams of sugar, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and a pinch of salt. You might be asking yourself, Michelle, you did that backwards. You should have used the bigger bowl for the dry ingredients because there's more of them. But I did it on purpose, and I'll explain why. Once we have the wet ingredients mixed together and the dry ingredients mixed together, we're going to combine them to form the batter. It's a lot easier to incorporate the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients rather than the wet into the dry, because the dry mixture will easily float a bit on top of the wet ingredients, whereas if you add the wet to the dry will stick to the bottom and the sides of the bowl, and you'll need to scrape around the bowl to incorporate everything thoroughly. It's just a little trick I've learned to make it a tad bit easier, but it's not a big deal and won't ruin your food or anything like that if you forget or do it the other way around. With the waffle mix ready, we'll spray the waffle iron with oil and add a half cup of batter and let it toast for around 7 minutes for maximum outside crispiness and interior fluff. Just an FYI, my waffle maker is a bit deeper and a Belgian style one, so yours might be a little different in way of measurement of batter and cook time. And now, to assemble our sundae. Starting with a banana, of course, then some scoops of ice cream, our coconut whipped cream, waffle sail, and last but not least, chocolate sauce. You can obviously also add nuts, fruit, or maybe some nougat if you want to make it even more Stranger Things themed, but there she blows, my Stranger Things sundae. For those of you who don't have such a sweet tooth, you might like an adult beverage, the Upside Down. For this drink, I used a recipe from bestdayoftheweek.com. We'll need some raspberry puree, but instead of buying this extremely specific ingredient that I'll only need a small amount for this one drink, I decided to pick out some of the frozen berries I keep in the freezer and add a small amount of water and mash them up. Voila! Raspberry puree DIY. Work smarter, not harder. Now we'll grab a tall glass, add the raspberry puree, some crushed ice, an ounce of vodka, an ounce of blue curacao, and top with your favorite lemon lime soda, ginger ale, or carbonated water. Then grab your drink or your sundae and get ready for Stranger Things Season 4. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!